Morning. 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 Noise. A lot of people here, and I think a lot of people not here. I'm assuming. So let's begin with our moment of silence. First thing is always new residents, and we do have two here this morning. Janice Portal, who come all the way from Lexington. I stand up so people and now we'll move on to the report items. And since we have so many people on Zoom, I just like to remind you, be careful with the microphone so that they can hear you.
Hello. Good. Okay, good morning. I do not have a lot this morning, but I do want to introduce you to somebody. So Madison Carter is our new Director of Human Resources. If you were not at the Core Leadership Team Hot Seat event, I will bring Madison up just to say a few words about herself, and you get to meet her in person. Madison?
Good morning.
Good morning.
As Jan said, my name is Madison Carter. I am the new Director of HR here at Kendall. I'm very excited to be here. I'm originally from the Atlanta area, spent some time in North Carolina, and I'm so excited to be in the beautiful Virginia mountains. So if there's ever anything that I can do for any of you, or if you would like to pop in and say hello, please feel free to do so.
Okay, thank you, Madison, and we're glad to have her on board as well. All right, two things. One is COVID. We do not have many here today because we have quite a few independent living residents, and we also have trouble in Webster now with COVID. So I see some masks. If you do have COVID, please, please, please be abiding by Rebecca's guidelines that she sets up with you. Make sure that your mask is covering your nose as well as your mouth. And that's for the protection of all of us. We are spreading it, and we have to slow down that spread. So please, please, please be extra careful and wash your hands. And then second is Cubico. So I sent out an email the other day just to let you all know that we are upgrading our software in our culinary department. It's called our point of sale. So as you go out of when you come out of the buffet and you're stopping to say to Kelsey or Kat, hey, this is what I've got, they have a whole new system that they're dealing with now. So it went extremely well yesterday. It's a much easier system than what we've had in the past. So we expect it to be non-eventful, but we will be tweaking the system over the next few months as we need to put in different buttons and different ways to capture everything that's going out of the culinary department, and that's both for residents and staff. Any questions for me? Yes.
A while back, we were talking about the possibility of using our name tags and door entry for that. Are we using those?
We are not.
So
we're not there yet.
We don't interact with that.
No.
Okay.
You don't need to do a thing but come to dinner and lunch and be patient with us. That's all you need to do. Nothing's changed for you. A lot has changed for the staff. So, okay, very good. Thank you.
Okay, next up is dining update. Yes, Brian's here.
All right. Can you hear me? All right. So just want to take a couple moments and just segue in, like what Jan had mentioned about Cubico. We did go live yesterday, and so you saw a lot of activity up there, a couple people walking around, still working through some of that. Like Jan had mentioned, it did go very, very nicely. And all we ask is that you be patient with us. And also, too, we're also looking at a couple items. So if you would please pause as you go up to the register, because again, that helps us out a little bit. We're not necessarily judging what you're choosing or concerned about what you're eating per se, but we do have to have a better visual at the tray itself, okay? So just so you know, as you go through, if you can please just kind of wait a little bit. I know in the past, it was a little faster because they would just look at the person. So now we're looking at the person and also everything else. So in the past, it'd be kind of like, okay, I gotcha, I gotcha, I gotcha. This system is not that fast yet. So just give us a little second to be able to look at you, look at the name, be able to implement it, okay? And then if you can help us with that, that'd be very, very helpful as we are retraining our staff on how to use this new system. So just a little pause there at the cash register. Also too, we're starting to roll out our fall menu series. So you're gonna start to see more things like pot roast and other things that will match the weather. As weather in the fall starts changing colors, you might start seeing things like butternut squash soup, etc., more roasted vegetables and those things. The next item on my list is we're also going to be changing the menu here shortly in our restaurant for the same reason. So you're going to start to see more fall items on there. So take a look at that. If you've not had a chance to go to our restaurant, we have Chef Sean does a fantastic job every week. Our reservations are open on Thursday, still Thursday and Friday only, but reservation only. We're pretty full this week. But starting next week, like I said, we have new menu changes and some additional items. We are still keeping the crab cakes, so just don't, we're not changing a lot of it, but we're still keeping the crab cakes and still keeping some of the popular items in the restaurant. We are adding to the selection of entrees. That's about all I have. Yes.
Could you give us just a brief overview of what Cubico does? You all are very familiar, but if you could just say in a few words what the program does.
Good question. So the question was, what does Cubico do? Well, it provides a lot of back of the house or front of the house, so it provides two things. It provides us the opportunity to do the ordering, well, I'm sorry, not ordering, but to track as far as how many servings we make versus we distribute during lunch and dinner. Also on the back side, from an accounting perspective, it allows us to streamline. So currently, or in the past, if you would walk up to the register, it would write down your name, and then we have to go back through and do the manual data entry. Now this is all done seamlessly. So we have what you're ordering, your food, just in this one example, and from a backside of it, that allows us to track or generate the points, okay? We're not having to stop and do another step for accounting. It's done on the software, in live, real time. We can pull the report today. We don't have to wait for the data entry part of it. So that's the big blessing in disguise right here. As far as functionality, doesn't affect the resident customer service part, but it helps us a lot on the accounting part. Yes, accuracy.
Well, does that mean you have to have everything on your tray at one time? I mean, when you're going back to the tray, go back for a salad or something, you have to go through it again?
No, we're not. Good question. If everything's not on your tray at once, Do you have to go back through? No, not necessarily. We're not at that point. But what it's going to allow us to do in the future, it's going to allow us to streamline our grill orders. It's going to allow us to streamline our buffet service. And it's going to allow us to streamline our service in our restaurant. So that's what it's going to do. So
no, you don't have to go back to it.
correct, you don't have to go back through the answer to the question. Any other questions? Yes.
Is there any change in 10 points a meal for a resident?
The points that's more of an accounting question, but the points do not change as far as the structure, just how we can pull the reports. We can do it more. I know some residents have asked me, what's my current points and other things like this. It's easier for us to pull that data out. But no, the points do not change. So, any other questions? All right, very much automated, very nice. And again, from a user-friendly, we can extract a lot of data out of it. So we're not having to hand go back and go, well, let's see, where are you at? Where am I at for the month? You know, we're not looking at a tick sheet. Yes.
Sometimes when I'm going through the line, my husband is coming, he usually has his tray taken to a table with one of the wait staff. Is that going to slow things down? How are they going to go through the line?
It doesn't necessarily slow anything down. We just want to give time for our staff to be able to input the information, because it could be a buffet meal, it could be a cheeseburger from 10 feet over that way. So it allows us, and also too, it helps us to separate points, because we do have some residents that have my points, their points, to help keep us straight on it. Yes.
When you order from the grill, a lot of times the grill person will bring it to your table. So do we stand up there and wait for our sandwich?
As far as the operational side, that does not change. They can still bring it to your table.
How's it gonna get?
So what we're gonna do is you can still do as of right now, we can still do the hand tickets. Here in the next little bit, we're gonna be able to use a tablet to put in what you want, but we're not quite there yet. We're still gonna walk up. If you want a cheeseburger, grilled cheese, or chicken tenders, just walk up to the grill and order it. Hopefully by this time next week, we'll be able to do the exact same thing, but versus writing it down on a piece of paper, we're gonna be able to do the keypad but as far as you're concerned, it doesn't change that process. But just what we're tracking it is the only change from a digital, paper to digital. Yes.
Will the grill station do the part of it there, or do you go to the cashier to do your order?
We're working through that. The question is, will the grill do it or will the cash register do it? We're working through that. So we have 2 tablets. We're working on whether it's going to be ordered there or there. But currently, the system has not changed. So just order from the grill. We're still training everybody on how to use the tablet. So yeah.
Good morning. Is this working? Yes. All right, so from a marketing standpoint, we have some pretty exciting news. We are still at 100% occupied and reserved. And this is maintained since August 23rd. So as I understand, this is kind of a record for us. So pretty exciting. Since the last meeting, we have had 5 new tours and try-its, 3 from Lexington, 1 from Roanoke, and 1 all the way from Vermont. We did have to cancel a couple of tours and try-its just because of the COVID outbreak. We want to keep everyone safe, people visiting and you all. We have 6 new waitlist members since the last meeting. 4 are couples, 2 are singles. 3 of those are mine and 3 of those are Kevin's. And year to date, we have 35 new waitlist members. We are over 200 on the wait list.
So we're at 202 with 56 on the ready list.
So there are 6 that are currently being renovated. They're all reserved for upcoming move-ins. Apartments 320 and T12 have October move-ins. Apartment 9 and Cottage 1007 have November move-ins. Apartment 204's new resident moves in January, and apartment 202's new resident is coming in March. Recent new move-ins, you met Jack and Janice Woodall, moved recently to apartment 201. Sue Norris, 310 Sunrise Ridge Circle, and Hank and Sharon Humphreys to apartment 107. And yesterday, Sarah and I represented Kendall at Lexington at the Confident Caregivers Conference held at Blue Ridge Community College up near Harrisonburg, put on by Valley Program for Aging Services. So we passed out Kendall at Lexington information at an exhibitor session that featured more than a dozen businesses, companies, and communities that serve older adults. And then we attended presentations on building joyful caregiver experiences and creating smoother transitions. And we also, marketing department, represented Kendall at the Rock Ridge Community Festival downtown Lexington. It was held on August 24th. So despite being at 100%, we're keeping busy.
We got it. Your card.
I was just gonna randomly push buttons and curse at it. And pick with it.
That's my job.
All right, I've got a list here. I'm gonna go over the first 3, because I actually have slides for you. Let me show you some pictures of my first 3. I have a tentative design for the first sidewalk project based on the Washington and Lee Pedestrian Safety Program. This is the first draft of the design. What we're looking for, this is not the design, this is the problem. So of the several things that were identified, the top request that came in was, how do we safely get folks from over here to over here without walking down the street, which is where all kinds of cars and traffic are all the time. And then also recognize that we have a crosswalk here that brings you to a nice drainage culvert, but doesn't really tie into anything else there. So what we've done in working with the WL and some of our own engineering work is we're looking at adding a sidewalk that meanders in a curvy way along that yellow line there north of Spring Lot Drive. We will grind the sidewalk here and put a crosswalk that ties in. We will grind sidewalks here. We will re-angle this so it ties in, and then have a little short tie in there as well. So that is the first draft of the design. We welcome your feedback later. We don't need to talk in super detail here with everybody, but I'll be taking that to the land use committee. And again, I welcome folks' comments on that. That is what we're looking at. There is some money in the 2024 budget. So if we can get this moving, that will be one that I'll get working on shortly. Second topic that I have pictures for is our utility usage. Generally, we've been doing very well. We've been fixing a lot of things, and that has really showed up in our gas and our electricity and even our waste that we haul out of here has all been going down. Water's been going down for a long time until April of this year. We have had a significant upturn in our water consumption since April. All of our central meters are still down. We continue to put in new boilers, new piping, new pumps, and fix leaks. Those have all continued to go down, but we've got some residential usage that has increased so much that it has more than offset those repairs. This is a 12-month rolling thing. So we're not saying we use more water in August than we use in January. This is saying we use more money in the 12 months that ended in August compared to the 12 months that ended in July, compared to the 12 months that ended in June. So this is a rolling 12-month snapshot. It's a significant upturn. I took our 68 of our meters and threw them on the graph and pulled off the location and ranked them from biggest users to least. These are all individual residences. Every one of these is a cottage. 4 high users are using more water than a third of our entire community. Please help us all. We have a lot of folks doing a lot of sustainability efforts and things like that. It undoes a whole lot of other work if we just excessively use things we don't need to be using. That's on the order of 60,000 gallons a year at a single house, when you can see what our averages are. Our mean and medium are way down from where they were steadily for the last 3 years. We just have some really high excessive use going on that I ask for y'all's help in curtailing, please. Last thing on my slides, we had a site visit earlier this month with folks from the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, our staff, representatives from the tree team, the Friends of Woods Creek group, should be an S in there, we don't critique my spelling, and the horticulture, land use, and wellness committees. And we met down at the Woods Creek edge down there to talk about the mowing and what we wanted to do. Some of you probably know this, but maybe not everybody. In the spring of 25, Kendall takes over maintenance of all those CBF planting zones. According to the Chesapeake Bay Foundation, the maintenance after year 3 is basically the elective removal of invasive species. Not mowing, not brush hogging. After 3 years, they want it to return to natural, turn into a forest state. So that is the plan we're moving forward with. And we all got together down there to make sure we were on the same sheet of music and understood what we were doing going forward. The main topic down there was that bottom trail. So this is on the south side of the property. This is Woods Creek over here, that you can't see behind the trees. And then the dog park and the cluster cottages are up the hill to the right. There is about a 30-foot buffer to the left of this blue line between where we mow the trail and the creek. That is not going to be mowed. That is not going to be brush hogged. That is going to be left 100% completely natural. The tree cages and the CBF little plastic shrouds will remain until they either come off naturally by tree growth or they're just big enough that the trees don't need them anymore. That is sometime down the road, and CBF says you can remove that stuff whenever you want. The walking trail here between the red and the blue line will continue to be mowed like a lawn. So that will be short, mowed grass for walking. This zone here, where there are more trees between the red line and the green line over here, if you look to the right of the green line right now, that is brush hogged twice a year. So we hit that. The plan right now is, I believe, March and November. I think it is the second brush hog season for that. We'll go through twice a year. The zone between the trail and that is actually going to be increased and will be done the same. Right now, this is mowed. This watershed runoff area they identified is going to be brush hogged as well, only twice a year. So it will not be mowed grass like you see now. That will be returning to brush hog around the trees. The trees, cages, and stakes will remain. We'll mow around them with the brush hogs twice a year. You'll have a clean trail here, but the buffer zone of wild stuff and the buffer, I should say wild stuff, buffer zone of brush hog twice a year, and then the buffer zone of mowed never is what the changes down there will be. So I've got lots of arrows and laser pointers and all, so I hope everybody understands the changes down there. The trail will remain the trail and will still be walkable. The rest of it is going to be left a little bit more in the buffer approval stuff that's in the maintenance agreement with the CBI. Okay, that is the end of my slides. I've got a long list here of other things I'll go over quickly with y'all. We have some plantings coming in, probably in a few weeks. We'll be moving on with some new plantings. Long list of planting requests. We started top to bottom and prioritized. Some of them are going in, some of them will just remain on the list for future consideration. About a third of what was requested is actually going in for this first round of fall planting. The elevator, well, they have continued to cash our check, but they haven't showed up yet. I talked to them periodically. The last time I CC'd the boss on it to try to get maybe some boss yelling at them. They haven't even answered any of those emails, so no progress on the elevators The repairs to the dining room in Webster where the sprinkler went off and did damage in there. Those repairs have started this week. You may remember last time or at other committees I talked about, we talked to the roofing company and they recommended a solution that they were pretty sure would work. I talked to the sprinkler company, they recommended a solution that they were pretty sure would work. We're doing both of those solutions instead of just one, and then we're double pretty sure it will work to fix the design issue that's in there. So I'm very confident actually what we're doing is going to prevent that same thing from happening again. The downside is it involves drywall and vents and sprinkler lines, so it's a pretty significant do-over. We're going to fix the entire dining area, and that will be put back in service. Then we're going to move to the other side of the hallway into the activity area and have to close that off and do the same thing. We're doing one at a time. That way those spaces are useful for our residents and staff. The South Carpet project is moving. Met with them this morning. They're confirmed to start on the 30th. So we're about 2 weeks out on that. I'll send a mass email out with details of that. They're going to start at the 200 level and work their way down. I don't have the daily schedule of how long it will take because it really depends on how much of the subfloor has to be replaced. It's quite a bit. If you walk down that hallway, you can feel where it's no longer level and the subfloor has failed in several spots. That work will be done just like we did on the north building. So it's minimally, hopefully disruptive to residents. They will come in at 8 at night and they will work through till 5 in the morning. Most of their work is not very loud. If you have to come out of your apartment in the middle of the night, there's staff there who can help you get around, especially if they're putting the adhesive down. Please don't just walk down the hallway at 2 in the morning on their adhesive, but there will be their folks there to help with that. We really didn't have problems on the north side. I was very pleased how well and how cooperative everybody was. The Sunnyside project roof and some HVAC work is still in the quote phase. I nudged them about twice a week. I still have not gotten that information back yet to move on that project. Replacing humidifiers and adding attic insulation right at the time of year where that is starting again. I wanted to start that up about a week ago, but the team got overcome with other problems and requests, so no one's been back in the attics yet. We'll be starting that soon. Highs next week are supposed to be in the mid-70s, so it's not as bad as going into the attic and bursting into flame when you go up there. Cole is back. He was out for 6 weeks, but he is back and catching up on a long list of HVAC issues. Mostly swapping out major equipment components that failed and things like that while he was gone. And then he's going down the list of the smaller, more individual requests that are in that backlog. But we're pretty close to caught up on that. He thinks by the end of the week, we'll be pretty much back to normal steady state of HVAC work order flow. Working with him on when our HVAC switchover will be. We'll send notice out about that for the common areas, about when we switch from cooling to heating. We don't have that schedule yet. Looking at the schedule, it's not quite yet. And the last thing on my list is the next Washington and Lee project is about signage and wayfinding, both interior and exterior, to make sure when you're looking for a certain apartment, you know which wing to go to or which floor and stuff like that, whether you're a resident, a guest, or a first responder in the middle of the night. They've been here twice now. I've been over at W&L with them twice. Their project runs till May. They'll come back with some signage and graphic packages, and then we'll decide what we want to put up and where and how to move forward with that. Similar to the sidewalk project. So they'll wrap up their work in about 8 or 9 months. We'll then have that in a packet to work on for the next year or two and see what we want. All right, that is my list. Any questions from me? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, could you let residents know what their water usage is and where they fit in the spectrum?
Yeah, if folks want to come by, I have that by resident. I'm not going to send out everybody's information, but if someone wants to know what they're doing, come by and let them know. I will tell you, I have avid gardeners who aren't in that top list. So there are ways to do things reasonably that you're not asking your neighbors to pay and still be able to do things. Yes, if you're concerned that you might be one of those, please come by and I'll look up in the chart and let you know. Anything else for me? All right, thank you all.
Todd, thank you for those graphics. It really helps to understand, because just waving hands, it's kind of hard to understand where the low lines will be and so on. So I appreciate the graphics. Well, here we are with COVID again, which means that we have to adjust what we've been planning on doing. We've canceled the CNE activities basically this week. So we did not eat out at Devil's Backbone. The Kendall College is going on, and the Marshall Legacy trip is canceled. But if you're going to go, you certainly can on your own. We're just not getting the bus for us. And we also have scheduled a Saturday mingle over at Sunnyside, which is a social event where you can just come and mingle with your other residents. And that was leading up then to the Saturday streaming at Sunnyside House, which will go on because it is outside, we hope. Next week, we have a program over at the Lenfest, the African syrup. And I don't know if we'll have enough signed up because we need a minimum of 7 people signed up for a bus to go there. And you need to get your own tickets for that. Thursday next week, we have Professor Christopher Whalen, who is a visiting professor from Oxford. And he has been giving lectures here over at least 10 years, and they are always very entertaining. And his topic this year is lawyers on trial, hired hands or heroes. And we have all seen or read about some of the discussions or the cases that have been brought by different people, legal people, and the way it can be used as an aggression or not. So he's going to be talking on that. I look forward to hearing Chris next week. Then we move into October, and we just got the list of activities for Connections, and it was really, it is a packed month, so I hope that COVID stays clear and we can do these things. We have a trio coming to perform music on the 4th here in Kendall Hall. We will have more events going to the Lenfest Center. The Kendall Singers are going to give us another nice performance on October 9th. Another Marshall Legacy talk on the 10th. And we have another trivia night scheduled. I hope you come to trivia night. It is lots of fun. Just you can come and make your own table, or you can also just come and join a table that's already there, and you'll have a good time. That's 7 o'clock in the restaurant on a Saturday night. Bob Moreshi, I should say Robert Moreshi, who is Dean of the Faculty at BMI, is going to come and give an overview, a very rapid overview of the curriculum at BMI since it began. So I think it will be interesting to hear what is going on there. And we also are going to schedule another day trip. The day trip we made to the Quilt Museum this month was just delightful and lovely. So we're going to try, this is to Poplar Forest over in Forest near Lynchburg on the 17th. We'll have a bus go over there and have a box lunch and tour Jefferson's wonderful place over there. So we have many more things scheduled, but I'll tell you about those at the next meeting. Thank you. Yes?
I didn't understand if a mingle is canceled or not.
Is which one?
A mingle.
The mingle. The mingle.
On Saturday, afternoon at 12 o'clock.
The mingle's postponed.
All right, which one? The mingle is canceled.
Okay, what the sleeping is.
We will reschedule a mingle.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, no, we thought we needed to.
No, I don't know.
Kendall College is still on?
Yes.
Yes, Kendall
I'm
College
reporting
is
on
still
it
on.
Later.
I'm sorry?
I'm reporting on it later on the program.
At the moment, we're getting Adam ready for this part.
Morning, everybody. I have the privilege of introducing our health services team this month. We are staffed 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. I'm going to introduce some individuals, probably the individuals that you would see first as you're introduced to our health services team, and then just to say, or just to show kind of the different teams in the different areas as well as we get going here. But first, we have Tracy Wallace, our Director of Nursing. In the middle, we have Sharon Ginger, our Administrative Assistant. We have Carla Hamilton, our Assistant Director of Nursing. Noel Will, who has been wearing multiple hats, but it's titled now Quality Assurance Manager. Our newest employee in the leadership suite is Sandy Donald, our admissions coordinator, and then I'm the health services administrator. Our Webster nurse manager being Amanda Bartley, our boarded nurse manager being Dalen Hyder, and then our new nurse supervisor, Ann Moore, will be kind of supporting all the areas. As a matter of fact, her role is really kind of a unique, flexible role, as even today she's working the floors just to cover for team members that are out, so we're not using agency. But both Amanda or Dalen could be working the floors as well to support the team in that nature. But just in those levels. These are the unicorns, if you will, of our health services team. We have Wendy Mace, our IL care coordinator, though she often is supporting, various Webster and Gordon tasks. Rebecca Smith, I don't know why they cut that age off, and our clinic nurse, as you all know very well, and then Denise O'Connor being our MDS coordinator is centralized in Gordon, but very much a big part of the team throughout all the levels. Going into the different teams that you'll see in various areas. So here's our Gordon day shift nurses. These nurses do rotate between the two hallways, Blue Ridge and Shenandoah. But typically they're working the 12-hour shifts. So you see them in various days and hours throughout. So this is our Gordon shift night nurses. Again, they will go to the various hallways, working 12-hour shifts predominantly. And then we have a group of PRN nurses. PRN is as needed or as available. Some of these nurses are currently in school or have various other activities that they're doing that they choose to work as it fits their schedule best. So this is our predominant Blue Ridge day shift CNAs, so otherwise known as the 400 CNAs during the day shift. And then this is our Blue Ridge evening and night CNAs. So CNAs will work, some will work 12-hour shifts, some have 8-hour shifts. It varies. We are more flexible with our CNAs to help accommodate their schedule. Similarly, as the 500 Shenandoah hallway, here's our day shift CNAs that's up to date right now, as well as our Shenandoah evening and night CNAs. And then we do have a number of PRN CNAs that you'll fill in. For example, the bottom right, Jessica has been a PRN CNA for over a decade here at Kendall. But again, various reasons, school, accommodating schedule, and just life. Moving into Webster, so here's our Webster day shift. Now, a lot of these team members are dual certified, meaning they're registered medical assistants, but also certified medical assistants. A registered medical assistant can pass out medications, whereas a CNA cannot, but there are both shown here. Obviously a smaller team, so I just broke them up into the Webster day versus the Webster night team. Again, same with here. We do have one LPN at the top right, or top left, Brooke, who is an LPN, and besides Amanda, she's the only LPN on the team. So just as a statement kind of from our team, is our health services team is committed to providing extraordinary care to our residents, ensuring their well-being and comfort through compassionate service, personalized care plans, and a focus on enhancing the quality of life. We strive to create a supportive and nurturing environment where every individual feels valued, respected, and cared for with the highest of professionals. Thank you.
Ms. Brown?
Yes, ma'am.
Sometimes in the past, Kendall has had, for independent living residents, and I suppose Webster, clinics for shots, for vaccinations. Is anything scheduled to provide, COVID shots and flu shots this fall?
Yes, so the question is for upcoming vaccine clinics for independent living residents. And we do have that scheduled, and the date is COVID vaccines will be September 26th, and then flu shots to follow October 10th.
What about RSV?
Question is about RSV.
Let me know if you need the RSV and I can, have them bring that and I'll be available to you.
RSV is as needed. If you do need it, please see Rebecca. RSV shots, vaccines are as, yes, sir.
I'm not sure what as needed means. Is it being recommended?
It means, not sure as means that, we're not holding a full clinic for it. It'll be if you personally need it for RSV, as opposed to the COVID and flu, where majority of people will want it or need it.
Annual RSV?
The doctor thing.
Please review with your PCP if you need to personally need RSV. Yes, sir.
We were over at CVS yesterday to get our COVID and flu shots, and we asked about the RSV. They said that the policy now is once in a lifetime. Once you get the RSV, you do not have to get it.
So the comment was saying that RSV varies as compared to the COVID and flu, where those are more annual. RSV may have a different time scale. Please review with your physician for that. And let Rebecca know, and she can help you out as well. Any questions on the health services team? Okay.
What does RSV stand for?
Oh, respiratory. Something. What does RSV stand for?
Come to Jeopardy and get the answer.
Even Siri goes to a Bible. Yep. Respiratory sensational virus. Yes. It is a common respiratory virus that affects people of all ages, but most common in children. RSV symptoms are similar to a cold and CDC recommends that everyone 75 and older get an RSV vaccine, and
thank you, Dr. Google.
All right, thank you all.
I think you're switching things over so that Diane can do the report on the holiday craft fair. We're not on this day on the code. There you go.
I'm subbing for Donna.
I'm on the craft fair committee. We've been meeting and planning for the year. You've seen these. Now, this is our craft fair. This will be, I think, our 5th annual craft fair. Is the first weekend in December here in Kemble Hall. But we need your help in making it happen. And we have several ways for you to help with that. These were sent out by email and put in some people's boxes. And these are where you may want to have a table at the craft fair of things that you have personally made, and we hope that many of you will consider doing that. Maybe you don't have enough things you've made that you want to have a whole table. You can have half a table. But we also started something last year that is called a hands-on table. It was over here by the windows, and this was made up of things that people gave to the table, maybe a few handmade items, and we sold them. And we also had some workshops where we as a group, the committee got together some supplies and you made up some of the things. The table did very, very well. We got over $1,000 and all of that goes to our staff appreciation fund. So it really goes for a good purpose. We are having the workshops again this year here in Kemble Hall on 2 consecutive Tuesdays in October, the 8th and the 15th. And we're having them from 11 a.m. to 1 in the afternoon, so that you can come whenever you want and do one of the craft projects. The supplies will be here on the table and people will be there to help you do it. And it's fun to work with your hands and to have something turn out, you know, in the end, and just to enjoy chit-chatting with someone as you're making this too. So you will see further notices about it, and you will keep hearing from us for this craft fair, which is enjoyed by all. Thank you.
Arden is going to talk about Kemble College.
I am.
There you go.
Thank you. Good morning, and I'm glad to see as many of you here as are here. I'm here to report on Kemble College and to tell you that between now and Thanksgiving, we will conclude 3 Kemble College programs. We begin this afternoon right here with the second lecture in the classical world, Kemble College, and this afternoon Caleb Dance will shift away from the wells in Athens, which we heard about last week, to Latin literature. And then a week from today, Rebecca Benefield will talk about her specialty, Pompeii, and its destruction and its current continuing excavation of the city of Pompeii. And then we move into October and November, and based on scheduling that we had to adopt, we have 5 straight weeks of Kemble College. First week, October 20, Bob Strong returns for his second of 3 lectures on the current presidential election, and that's called the Fall Forecast. Then we have 3 straight weeks of Tim Gaylord and his piano music, doing, I don't have the dates, I can get them, but it's 5 consecutive Wednesdays. Next Wednesday, Louis Moreau Gottschalk, then the following Wednesday, Scott Joplin, and the final Wednesday of his 3 is the day after the election, Wednesday, I think it's the 6th of November, and that's George Gershwin. And then we get back a week after that to Bob Strong's final lecture on the election called What Does It Mean? It's a post-election analysis. Now, I encourage you all to come early to all 5 of those lectures, because interestingly, those two speakers have the record for the largest attendance here in Kendall Hall. About less than a year ago, Tim Gaylord set a record of 100 attendees. And according to my statistics, that was broken, and the largest Kendall College of all was Bob Strong's first lecture in August, which attracted 110 attendees. I encourage you, therefore, for those to come early enough to make sure you get a seat and get in before the fire marshal's attendance restriction kicks in and means you can't come in. Don't let that happen. Any questions? Okay, look forward to seeing you this afternoon.
Okay, that is the end of the agenda. Is there anything that needs to be brought up on the floor? And we're done for this month. Stay healthy and let's have a bigger crowd next time.